Baltimore, I can't see you. Where you at?
Yo, tell me with this. I can't help I am.
Robert.
I can't help You're killing me, man. This ain't not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it. Y'all just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it.
At this point, we briefly pause the interview to give Kelly a moment.
Man, yo, let me with this. Yo, let me with this. Yo, let me with this.
Saturday.
Yo, let me. Y'all trying to kill me. Yo, let me with this. 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 Let me, man. Trying to kill me. Trying to kill me. You don't want to believe it. Trying to kill me. Trying to kill me. I hope this camera keep going. Stupid R. Kelly. Fight for my life. Stupid R. Kelly. Do it. Stupid R. Kelly. Fight for my life. Stupid R. Kelly. Do it.
Okay. Happy Saturday, everyone. How are you doing this weekend? I hope that your weekend has been joyful in one way, shape, or form. It's been a crazy news week. To all of my Black content creators, y'all all right? Are you doing okay? Because it has been a news week full of chaos, okay? Y'all know I treat the R. Kelly joint. That's like my little anthem over here. Y'all know I cover the R. Kelly trial so well that the New York Times did a write-up on me. So yeah, that song is also pretty hilarious to me. But let's get into it, right? We got some things that we need to talk about. Come on in, hit thumbs up on the video if you have not already. I really want to unpack what KeKe Palmer recently stepped out and said, not even an hour ago. She said this, and I really want to unpack it, the sentiments that lie underneath it, and really just talk about how harmful respectability politics can be, especially, and I do mean especially, for Black people, people of color. Respectability politics, this cultural shift that we're in right now, it's really wild. You know, KeKe Palmer feels like she's too nice and people take advantage of that. She details a time where she politely told a woman no 3 times. This woman asked her over 3 times to take a selfie with her, take a picture. KeKe Palmer said no, and she just decided to smile as the woman proceeded to invade her privacy. And for me, KeKe Palmer is one of the least problematic Black celebrities that we know, that we've seen literally. We've seen KeKe Palmer grow up. Now, she wasn't like a child star, like a Beyonce, like just 2 o'clock singing and dancing or performing, but she is someone that we have seen evolve and progress. And it's one thing to be at your, 30 or whatever year old form and to be hella mature and to maybe have wilded out in the past. But KeKe Palmer never really even had a phase where she wowed out. She's always been a well-mannered, well-behaved, out the way, but still somehow funny and charismatic, and can always just give us a laugh. Or KeKe, whether she's in a movie, whether she's in a film, whether she's in a show, or whether she's just kicking it on social media. She's very authentic. She's pretty transparent, and I stand behind her sentiments 100%. So I want to get into what she said and see how you all feel about it. I like her I Don't Belong to You song. Yeah, she does make music too. She does make music too. So let's get right into what she said. Like I said, if you haven't hit thumbs up on the video, definitely take a second to hit thumbs up and even consider taking it a step further and subscribing, okay? The following video is broadcasting live, and thank you for being my studio audience. Thank you for hitting thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more Black news, celebrity entertainment, and a splash of controversy. So let's get started with the very first thing that we seen take place. We went from tweets on Twitter to a somewhat lengthy Instagram post, okay? So let's get into what these tweets are about. KeKe Palmer says, no means no, even when it doesn't pertain to sex. I was at the bar the other day, and this girl asked me 3 times for a picture, and I told her 3 times nicely that I did not want to take one with her. She still proceeded to film me against my will. If I would have went off on her, I would have been wrong in the situation. So I just nervously laughed while my privacy was invaded upon. take a second to just think about this. Take a second to think about it from the vantage point or the point of view from anyone, and then think about it KeKe Palmer nicely. Like, she's never even given off nasty girl vibes. And even if so, if I'm knee deep in my glass of Chardonnay, my steak and my mashed potatoes at the bar, and you ask me for a picture and I say no, whether I say, you know what, I'm sorry, unfortunately at this time, I'm just at the point where, like, that's a lot of words to just say no. She could have just been like, no. Or she could have nicely said no. But KeKe Palmer has never given off bitchy vibes. So just take a second to think about KeKe Palmer in that situation based off of how we've seen her over time, what her reaction could have been like. Like, let's just visualize this. And then we get into what KeKe Palmer had to say on Instagram. She took a picture of this tweet. She posted it on Instagram and she gave us a lengthy caption. Okay. And what KeKe Palmer said in this caption is, clearly I'm still upset about it because I hated that I smiled, but that's my defense mechanism, to laugh and to joke in an uncomfortable situation. And unfortunately, it misleads people every time. So KeKe Palmer feels as though she's too nice. Literally, I could be wanting to scream on the inside, KeKe Palmer continues and says, and on the outside, I'm still performing. The fact that I tell people no at all is therapeutic progress for me. Creating boundaries can sometimes be so difficult, but when you people please or always try to avoid conflict, you let yourself down every time. Good luck to all those who struggle with this from time to time. If you ever want a picture with me and I say no, let's just let that rock. Very nice, very cool, very cool, very collective, right? Even the way she put it, she didn't take to social media angry, using all caps. Just leave me the F alone. I said no. Why are you pressing me? Why you? And even that, I feel like that's like low key warranted, but she still had a level of calmness while she's expressing how this bothered her. It bothered her in real time, and it's bothering her afterwards. And she's taking to social media about it. And honestly, it takes KeKe Palmer a lot to take to social media, because KeKe Palmer, especially ever since the Trey Songz thing, about 5 years ago, that was. First of all, every time Trey Songz is brought up on his transgressions, here comes KeKe Palmer getting dragged into the discussion. And I know she's sick of it, but she's spoken about how that situation has made her feel. And anytime you say something as a person in the public eye, but to be a Black person, a wealthy person in the public eye, anytime you say something, you have to worry about the ripple effect. You said it on this day, this time, but the media and the blogs, they're going to run with it, and it's going to have this ripple and ongoing effect. It's going to echo for a while. So you have to think about, am I ready for this sentiment to just be rippling and bouncing off people to people? And then you've got to account for how people may be taking your words or your sentiments out of context. It takes a lot to want to step up and say something like that. I'm nowhere near KeKe Palmer. I'm just a Black woman in Baltimore who got her channel deleted at 100,000 subscribers. And I can understand when it feels like everybody wants you to respond when you say something, especially when you speak out about an issue. You're a bit nervous. You're like, do I want to give the public this? Because they're going to rip it apart, and they could turn it into something that it's not. I've had to stay silent and stay still on quite a few things. So even at my small level of notoriety and recognition, I totally understand that nuance, right? But I want to talk about respectability politics. We've had several culture shifts over the years, and recently respectability politics, right? It is the way that you are expected to respect certain constructs, certain people, certain structures that have already been established, typically old, you just ways of going about respecting different structures, people, places, employment, and just how you read the room and how you respond to things in general. And I think that, unfortunately, respectability, how people expect you to respond, how people expect you to stay calm, it has done a number on us in a not so positive way. Like I'm saying, KeKe Palmer, she's still a human being. It gets to the point where we really need to take celebrities off of a pedestal. And it doesn't mean that they're not worthy of being appreciated, being credited, and given their kudos for whatever their contribution to the entertainment world or society is. It just means stop acting like they not people. Because people can lose their shit at any moment. Think about the Will Smith and the slap. Some people feels like it was warranted. Some people feel like it wasn't. What we do know is Will Smith had a severe lapse in judgment at that time. and he wowed out in front of all of those people. And again, whether it was warranted or not is a whole nother discussion that I think is just beating a dead horse at this point. But it's safe to say he could have handled that a number of different ways while even having issues with that. He had a lapse in judgment. His emotion, he's human, and we all snap at one point or another, especially when we feel like the same people or the same variable, the same thing keep playing with us. We are all people at the end of the day, and respectability politics has turned into leverage that the public can put us at. These celebrities are looked at as animals in a zoo, and it doesn't mean that they are, being compared to animals in a derogatory manner, but it's like they have to be on display and on their best behavior and dared, literally double, triple dog dared not to respond to even the most ludicrous circumstances and things and people in their face. Look at how Mike Tyson just put the paws on that dude on the plane. He was baited, being expected to not respond to absurd stuff. It is leverage. They are shackles. These people in the public, they have these celebrities cornered, and they know it. They know it. They absolutely know it. And they are baiting you to act out. They'll get in your personal space. They'll record you. They will, maybe even put hands on you. Just a lot of stuff that's like, yo, get out my face. Especially if you ask for a picture and I say no, and you proceed to take pictures anyway. You proceed to record me. Who knows if I'm looking the way that I want to look? Who knows if I feel like being bothered with other people? Who knows if I'm with my family, my friends? This is sacred time where I shouldn't have to have my on button turned on, especially when it comes to people in the public eye and people who are entertainers. They've got that on switch on a lot. They already give a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. They may only get 2, 3, 4, 5, private hours where they are not expected to perform or to have to perform for folks. And that is that is what's happening when people are out in the public eye. They're baiting you to act out. They're taunting you. They are triple dog daring you to respond to their nonsense. They have you cornered and they know it. And this is the turn, because people understand how respectability politics work. They treat you like a caged animal. It doesn't matter how much they poke into the cage. It doesn't matter how hot the temperature gets, whether they're making the temperature that hot, right? Testing you, trying to get you to respond. These entertainers are looked at as the property of the public because they are doing a bit of a public service by lending their talent, their time, whatever, however it is that they entertain us. And they are expected to endure. They're expected to endure the bullshit. They're expected to endure disrespectful behavior, because if they respond, they know that the people who are taunting them, they know what a snippet of a reaction would do to said celebrity or to said socialite. They know what a snippet of a reaction would do in the media and to everyone who gets to glance at it. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, why is she obligated to let someone film her and invade her privacy when she's nicely declined 3 times? She want to sit at the bar and mind her business. She don't want to be bothered with you. And she shouldn't have to be bothered with every Tom, Dick, and Harry that wants to walk up and pester her when she's just trying to live her life. KeKe Palmer is a bit of a workaholic. I follow her pretty closely, relatively closely. She works her ass off. So for those couple of hours that she gets to herself, couple of minutes, 1 hour, whatever, she shouldn't have to be obligated to do a song and dance for the public. Dehumanization. These are still people at the end of the day. And people be playing this dangerous game within the proximity of how close they are to fucking around and finding out, because they keep fucking around with the wrong people. If that was an everyday person, you put a phone right here in my face, like I was saying in the last video, you put a phone right here in my face, me being my everyday regular schmegular self. You put a phone right here in my face and I'm out at Walmart, I'm definitely pushing your hand away. I'm pushing your arm away. I understand what that is in the eye of the law. Oh, well, you touch their stuff first. That's assault. It's a mouth shove. Other people, they're not just going to give you a mouth shove or get that out my face. You're literally in my bubble. If I can feel the heat of your overheating phone on my face, you're doing too damn much. You're doing too much. And people be fucking around and finding out. Dude that messed with Mike Tyson. Dude that broke into the baby's house. you be thinking because they celebrities, they can't respond. Otherwise, the media going to eat them up. Well, some of the media might eat them up. Other people in the media might rally and say, you played a stupid game, so you want a stupid prize. Stop invading people's personal space, because you wouldn't do that to a regular person at the bar. Because the regular person at the bar been to beat your ass. You doing this to a KeKe Palmer or a celebrity because you know she has the urge to stay composed this entire time, because she doesn't want to deal with the backlash of the media or any ramifications of her reacting or responding to your nonsense. Leave people alone. Stop messing around before you find out. No, I don't want KeKe Palmer to beat nobody at, because I don't want her to have to deal with the scrutiny of the public. But sometimes I just wish they could just shapeshift into an alternate identity, beat somebody at, and then shapeshift back into, you know what I'm saying? Some of these people deserve to have some hands put on them, because they haven't had a lesson served cold to them in a while. They really haven't. It's almost like extortion or blackmail. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Because they're looking, and that's what Cam Coldheart did. God rest his soul. You know, from what I understand, he's gone. But I was just talking about that in the stream earlier today, about the baby. Cam Coldheart definitely was cruising for a bruising. He walked up to the baby recording, calling him all types of ridiculous things, saying, you're not going to hit me. You're not going to put your hands on me. The baby didn't want to be recorded. He kept recording and stepping in his space. He finally got mollywopped. Mollywopped so bad to the point where he was sitting there with his ass out, boxes showing, bloody nose, in a daze, because them punches landed and it had him dizzy. And it took him about 2 or so minutes to come to and get his bearings straight and realize even where he was. And some people don't mind getting their ass beat to be beat into relevancy. They don't mind humiliating themselves. They're like, as long as people know my name. We are just living in a really different, a very strange, a weird time. These celebrities being expected not to react. I'm not excusing or condoning violence, but people do have limits. And if you know you wouldn't do it to an everyday person walking up and down the street, because you know an everyday person don't have as much to lose as a celebrity. You testing, you're in dangerous waters. These celebrities being expected not to react, it's ridiculous. Like I said, it reminds me of how these celebrities are put on a pedestal. They're expected to not have certain reflexes and reactions that us regular folk have. And it reminds me of them being animals in a cage. Animals in a cage because they entertain the public. You know, it reminds me of the story of how a tiger's at the zoo minding his business in the cage. It's a wild animal. A human decides to climb the fence and go into the tiger's cage. And what you think happened? He got ate. He got viciously attacked. He got ate. They put the tiger down. Why are you mad at the tiger for being a tiger? Why? This is what tigers do. This is what happens when you fuck around and you find out and you close that gap in between fucking around with that tiger and you found out what was really going on. But again, this is a tiger. This is what tigers do. When you invade people's privacy and you shoving cameras in their face, worse than a TMZ at least give you 3 to 6 feet, sometimes even 10. But when you doing the most like that, when people are out minding their business, especially at the bar, first of all, what you really should never do, I don't care who it is, celebrity or not, is mess with somebody at the bar. Because a lot of people ain't in their right state of mind at the bar. You're more impulsive. You got liquid courage when you're at the bar. So you got to be an idiot to even be testing somebody's personal space at the bar anyway. Let alone for you to be testing my good sis. KeKe Palmer, I stand behind KeKe Palmer 100% because she's not a problematic person and she doesn't like speaking up about things because of that ripple effect that I was talking about earlier. But people are just too much. Again, you jump into a tiger's cage, a tiger's going to be a tiger. You mess with people regardless of what the caliber of person is or how you're sizing them up. A person is still a person and everybody still has reflexes. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. I see a lot of channel members are here. Make sure you hit thumbs up on the video if you have not already. And make sure you share it on Twitter or via text message, however you share videos, even if it's Facebook. But you know, and it's really crazy because, you know, you catch some of these celebrities, regardless of who they are or where they are in the progression of their career, they get to be looked at as high sedity, you know, or they think they to this, or think if they're always with security, oh, they always got a lot of security. Well, this was obviously a time where KeKe Palmer didn't have her security handy. she was at the bar. Again, she says no means no, even when it doesn't pertain to sex. I was at the bar the other day. A girl asked me 3 times for a picture. I told her 3 times nicely that I didn't want to take one with her. She still proceeded to film me against my will. If I would have went off on her, I would have been wrong. So I just nervously laughed while my privacy is being invaded upon. Nervous laughter is definitely a thing when you feel disrespected and you're unsure about how are people in this immediate environment going to accept me speaking out or me reacting to this. And then if there's anybody filming and it makes it outside of this arena in this environment, how is everybody else going to interpret it? Because a lot of times people will highlight the reaction while forgetting what provoked it, what caused it, what led up to it. And we know that KeKe Palmer's reaction will be a lot louder than what happened to lead up to it. It's just like Mike Tyson. All the headlines, Mike Tyson wild out, punched the guy in the face. It wasn't God taunted Mike Tyson. God threw a water bottle at Mike Tyson. God was drunk out of his mind. Mike Tyson had already took a selfie with this guy. This guy was harassing Mike Tyson. And then Mike Tyson beat the brakes off of him. That's not how the headlines and how the media went. But Mike Tyson being the person that he is, his reaction is going to be so much louder. And it's going to dominate the headlines more than what led up to it. So listen, KeKe Palmer being out without her, security, that should be something that she should, be able to do. I know a lot of people felt like when that thing happened, hey, Tasha Talks Truth, a lot of people felt like when Mike Tyson was on the plane, oh, why was he on a commercial flight anyway? Why wasn't he in first class? Why wasn't he on a private jet? We can ask all them questions if you want to. Just because you feel like Mike Tyson got all this money doesn't mean that he has to remove himself from society and he's not allowed to fly on a commercial flight. Asking those questions, oh, he got so much money. Why was it wasn't the swap meet. Okay. It wasn't the flea market. It was a plane. And just because he wasn't on a private jet doesn't mean he should have to be subjected to that sort of harassment. It doesn't mean that. And just because KeKe Palmer didn't have her security with her at that time doesn't mean that people should just have the right and the free range and ability to film people against anyone. I want to see this footage. I want to see, since the girl wanted to be recording KeKe Palmer without her consent, I want to see if the girl's going to be bold enough to post it, because she's going to get a lot of backlash, because it's like, oh, you were the one that KeKe Palmer was talking about at the bar. Why was you doing that to my good sis? I'm pretty sure she would, if she did share it, she would make all of her social medias private or something like that. Yeah, I've nervous laughed it a couple times. I've nervously laughed. I've nervously laughed several times, a lot of times when I just felt uncomfortable in a regular situation, non-sexual situation, and situations involving what's the word? Not necessarily penetration, but it was still like a sexually charged like situation. Nervous laughter is a thing, and especially from women. Nervous laughter is definitely a defense mechanism that I believe a lot of us utilize. But listen, you try to take the approach of being relatable and venturing out alone, you're subjected to this. I feel bad for KeKe Palmer that she has to deal with this. She does speak about setting boundaries in this caption here, and I'm glad she spoke on this, because KeKe Palmer is a people pleaser, and she says, creating boundaries can sometimes be so difficult, but when you people please or always try to avoid conflict, you let yourself down every time. Good luck to those who struggle with this from time to time. In the future, if you want to take a picture with me and I say no, just let that rock. Just let that rock. And it's a shame she got to say that, but I'm glad that she was able to get it out. I'm glad that she was able to say that, because KeKe Palmer, much like Joe Scott, because Joe Scott went viral yesterday too for some stuff. Well, she was trending yesterday rather for some stuff. They are national treasures. Okay, protect them at all costs. Non-problematic ladies. We know Joe Scott did what she did to the microphone, but that's not problematic. It caused some controversy, but it's not problematic. Leave KeKe Palmer alone. She really don't be out here bothering nobody. She minds her business and goes home. Tracy, thank you for coming through. Says Tasha K turned me onto this channel a while ago and I'm still here. I really love your thorough coverage of topics. Thank you so much, Tracy. I really appreciate that. And I thank you for your undying support and your viewership. It doesn't go unappreciated or unnoticed. Okay. Shout out to everybody who is on the live bus right now, on the bus. I know that all of you are on the bus. You've paid your fare. You hit thumbs up on this video. But you are chasing behind the bus if you're catching the replay, and I don't hate you for it. I still appreciate you for chasing behind the bus. You missed it, right? Make sure so that you don't miss any of my other live streams when I'm popping up, giving you some of the best breaking Black news and celebrity updates. Tap on that notification bell. After you hit subscribe, tap that notification bell to make sure that you're getting those notifications when I'm breaking stuff to you in real time. A lot of times, especially on the weekends, the mainstream media, the blogs and everything, they're off or they're very short staffed. There's only like 1 or 2 people in the building. A lot of news doesn't get out on the weekends, but I typically do all I can do to bring y'all some of the best Black news and celebrity updates on the weekend. And that's what we're doing. The baby striked again. I did a live stream about that where we went over actually pretty extensively his violent rap sheet, right? Violence has been following him since 2018. Over the last 4 years, we've got murders in Walmart. We've got beating up club promoters. We've got beating up upcoming rappers and artists. We've got beating people into a coma, hitting women outside of concerts. There's a lot surrounding the baby and everything that he's got going on. Okay, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. Another subject that I was able to touch on was the DC mass shooting that happened yesterday. It was a 12-year-old and 3 adults who were injured by a mass shooter. The shooter was at large during my initial coverage. When I came back and I did the update, the shooter was found, and there was some really shocking stuff found in the apartment where he was located as well. So make sure you check out that serious coverage if you're looking for something more newsy and more real outside of the celebrity realm. But if you want that celebrity entertainment, those celebrity updates, I got you covered for all that as well. So make sure you subscribe for all of the syrup that I be dishing out over here. Okay. Now, y'all make sure to tag me in all of your trending topics on Instagram and on Twitter. You definitely want to follow me on Twitter because I am there 24/7, always causing some friendly chaos, always got my finger on the pulse with what's going on. And then also, if you're having an issue with getting my notifications here on YouTube, one thing that I do 9 times out of 10 before I go live is I tweet it out on Twitter first, along with the link so that you are notified. So if you follow me on Twitter, make sure you turn on the notifications for the tweets there as well. That way, if you miss or if Instagram is not pushing through notifications, I've had a couple of people tell me that if you are getting notified for my tweet, you can get a notification for a live stream that way as well, so that you're all covered. Okay. Now, shout out to all my channel members. We had a really good time after I covered all of that serious stuff with the DC mass shooting. We went backstage and we chopped it up about several things. We chopped it up about Joe Scott versus Lizzo. Twitter made that a thing. Netflix. We got into the Mike Tyson updates. We got into a baby Karen that was bugging. I don't know where her dirty mom was. It was a lot. It was a really good time. And we were able to just sit back, relax, and decompress a little bit. So to all of my channel members, if you weren't able to check that out, make sure you check your members only community tab. Remember, you have access to a community tab that everyone else that is not a channel member, you get to see. And that is especially for you if you are a part of the channel membership. Okay. That's pretty much all that I have on this KeKe Palmer stuff. Like I said, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, your time, your energy. None of that stuff goes unappreciated or unnoticed. Let me know your thoughts on KeKe Palmer in this situation. Do you feel like she owed the girl something extra? She said no 3 times. How do you feel about respectability politics and how it's kind of been transformed into something where the general public or anybody really just has leverage to kind of corner you and pigeonhole you to the point where you aren't allowed to move, you aren't allowed to respond, which is kind of like premeditated extortion and blackmail, as one of the, stickies said earlier in this video today. It's really unfortunate that KeKe Palmer has to be subjected, or any celebrity really, or any person has to be subjected to that type of disrespectful ass treatment. Let me know how you feel about it. Make sure you keep it sticky real down below in the comments. I can't wait to chop it up with you down there. Don't forget to check in on yourself, find some peace, do some things to grant yourself release. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up or down. Either way, I appreciate it. But make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of this trending syrup. Because if it's happening, I'm finna be talking about it. Okay. Make sure y'all drop one of them pancake emojis and y'all stay beautiful, black, and blessed. Until the next time. Deuces. But that's it. If you want to catch more of my commentary on Black culture or vital and trending information, be sure to subscribe by hitting that little circle in the middle of the screen, or I'll catch you in one of these rectangles to the right in another video. I'll see you there.